This is Mia from Mimo Design Laser Files. I just made this new spinning ornament for teachers. I actually made two today. I made one for recovery as well. Both of them took 7.5 minutes to cut on my 80-watt CO2 laser from Weber. And I sanded these, this one took 3.5 minutes. And now I'll show you how to paint and assemble. So when you get this file, it will have a bagger with or without a hanger, so you could use it as a magnet as well. It will have this spinning wheel. This one says you are the best teacher in the whole world when it spins around. And it will have a front for the apple. Also, I added a best teachers text, but you could replace this with a name or engrave the apple if you prefer. So the important part, once you've cut your files, is that you sand. As said, it took me 3.5 minutes. So I sanded the back on both sides, the front on both sides. The wheel I sanded extra good, because the more smooth you can make this wheel and the more material you're kind of removing, the better it will spin around. This inner part you don't want to sand because you want it to be just a tiny bit thicker than the wheel itself. The apple, I rounded the edges on. The easy way to do that is just angle the sander just a tiny bit, and you'll get these kind of round edges. I didn't sand my text because this will just be wiped over with paint. But let's get to the painting. I'll start with the apple. So for the apple itself, I'll use chalk paint. You could use acrylic paint or watercolor or paint markers if you want. I just find the apple to be big enough to make it easier to just use my chalk paint. So I'll speed up the video while I'm painting this. So that's the apple. As you might notice, I did go inside this hole because I'll actually, once it's assembled, I want it to look like it's red inside, so I'll do the same on my front as well. This is where the apple will be layered, so you don't have to paint this area. But I'll just add my red inside this hole. Like that. So that's the base of the apple. Now I can go in and add some details, and for that I'll be using my acrylic paint pens. So I'll take the leaf first. If you're really careful, you can easily wipe over these scored lines without removing them. Just don't push too hard. And these acrylic markers are something that I got from Amazon. I'll drop the link below in case you're interested in these. They are really great because they come with 2 color tips that mix and match. So they are really easy to work with, and also they cover nice. They are pretty cheap. I think they are around $25 for 36 pens, and then you have 72 colors in a set. So that's the leaf. And I'll take a brown for the stem. Like this. And for the shades inside my apple, I'll take this darker brown and just add a little inside here. And I can see that I didn't get all the way down in the stem, so there we go. So to make a little highlighting on this apple, I'll also use my acrylic markers. So I'll just angle them and go across the edges like this and use a finger to wipe it off just a little. The great thing about painting with acrylic markers is that it dries really fast. So I'll add a little highlight over here. Like that. And maybe make one down here as well. I want this to be blurred out a little bit. That, and maybe one up here. And I could even take this hole and just highlight that a little as well. And you now have a more 3D kind of apple. Also for the stem, I will use the darker brown that I had. Like that. And as you might see, they blend in really nice. I love these pens. For the apple, I'll again use the other end. Just outline the edges. And I'll take the scored lines and kind of just wipe those over. Like that. For the text, I'm thinking that this should be white. So I'll grab that's actually not good. This is a little off-white, but it's white at least. So I'll just wipe over my text. So since I didn't remove any residue or sanded this one, my residue is actually shining a little bit through the text, but I actually like that because it gives it a little kind of rustic look. So I'll keep it as is. Otherwise I would have gone in and created some effects on top of the text, but this is nice. So the apple is now done, so all that's left to do is stain my back and we can get on to assembling. So for my back and front, I want to use medium walnut. This is my stain from 333. You could use any, and you could use paint if you wish instead, but I just like to blend my paintwork with kind of natural looking wood. So I'll use stain for this one, and I always use a foam brush to apply, and I always wipe in the wood direction. Since this will be hidden, you only have to color one side. So I'll take the side that is prettiest and use that as the back. And as said, I always wipe in the wood direction, and as soon as you get some stain on there, you can easily see which direction to go. So that's the thing, and this soaks in really fast, so I don't have to pause my video. I'll just go on to a little detail that I forgot to mention, because I like to paint the lever as well. So I'll grab a metallic paint pen and just add some color to it. You could stain your wheel as well, but I'll just keep this one natural. I have painted some of my wheels with acrylic paint markers, and also I have stained them. But the smoother you can get this, the easier it will slide. I'll also take the edges, so this will be a little metal looking. Like that. And I'll take the hanger as well, because this top part will be visible. If you're using the magnet version, you obviously don't have a hanger to paint. So on to assembling. This is almost dry. Let's take a towel and I'll place this underneath. So you take a bagger and you place your wheel on top. Now to the important part. You want to make a little bit of distance between this one and the front. So there's many ways that you could do so. You could add some thick 3M tape or double-sided tape. You could add a piece of cardboard or thin acrylic or something like that, or thinner material. What I like to do is that I use a stapler. This stapler is from my local hardware shop in Sicily, but you can get these anywhere. I'll drop an Amazon link below. But when you're using a stapler, glue isn't really necessary to the back, so I'll skip that part. Otherwise, you wanted to glue this down the hole. But I'll just give mine a few staples like that. And I can now place my top. So on this one, I actually think I'll make it a little different and just glue this on top first, because then I'm sure that the apple is perfectly aligned. So I'll be using some super glue. I have some Gorilla super glue. So this should dry pretty fast, unless it's empty. There we go. So I'll just add it randomly and place a few drops around this hole, like that. And to align this, you have the corner of the leaf, you also have a little bit of the bottom, and you have these scored lines to get it aligned properly. And since I'm using super glue, I don't have much time to work with. So if you're not great at aligning, I would suggest that you use some wood glue. that dries up slower. But that's the apple, and the text I'll also just randomly, I have to get a blue super glue. But I'll just place a few drops here and there. Put over and place my text. Like that. And now my front is finished. So I'll just prep a few clamps before I assemble the ornament. But you already stapled down this one to the back or glued it down, depending what you're doing. So for this one, I really prefer to use wood glue, but I will add a few drops of super glue as well, just for the sake of this tutorial. But in general, I always use wood glue. So you want to make sure that you're placing some glue on top of the staples, because they are a little higher up than the wood. I'll put in a few drops of super glue. Come on. There you go. And it's important that you don't get glue too close to the edge, because then you'll glue down the wheel and you can't have that. So place your top and make sure that this cutout is aligned to the hanger if you're using the hanger version. If you're using the round magnet dagger, there's nothing to align to, and you could just place it. Use clamps to hold it while it's drying. And that's it. So this is actually really easy. Assembling takes about 2 minutes. The sanding took about 3 minutes. The painting will take the time that the painting will, depending on how much effort you put into it. But these are really fast and easy to make. And if you're interested in the files for these, they can be found in my Etsy shop or our own platform. Links are in the description. Also, I run my own Facebook helping group if you have any questions or something you'd like to ask. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more. So I think it is dry now. So I'll just remove my clamps. And once it's dry, you just take your spinner for a turn. And it's done. So I can now add a string on the top and give it to my favorite teacher. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.